Detonator is the fifth full-length studio album by Ratt, released August 21st, 1990 by Atlantic Records. This is the last album to feature bassist Juan Croucier, though he did return to the band, of course, in 2012. It's also the final appearance of guitarist Robin Crosby before his death in 2002. Although Crosby, for all intents and purposes, didn't play on the album. Detonator is also notable as the album that features Ratt's only released power ballad, Givin Yourself Away. Though their previous album, Reach for the Sky, went platinum, it met with some criticism regarding the quality of the songs. In an attempt to regain the popularity that Ratt had in the mid-1980s, the band parted ways with longtime producer Beau Hill for Detonator, and songwriter Desmond Child was brought in to co-write with the band. Detonator also met with some criticism, as most reviews I've read, seen, or listened to seem to agree that the album marks the point in their career where Ratt sold out in favor of a more pop-oriented sound. That thought honestly never occurred to me in 1990 that I remember, or until I started hearing people say that in their reviews of the album. And there are only a couple of tracks on the album that I can even understand people saying that about. All in all, I simply don't agree. One of the things I like about Detonator is that it reminds me of some of the heavier moments from Out of the Cellar in places. In any case, if the album was Ratt selling out, it certainly didn't pay off. The album peaked at number 23 on the Billboard 200 and was only certified gold in 1990, the first full-length Ratt studio album not to hit the platinum mark. As for the singles, information I was able to find is spotty and contradictory at best. But I do know that the music videos made from Detonator included Lovin' You Is a Dirty Job and Shame, Shame, Shame. There's also a video on YouTube for Givin Yourself Away, though I can't seem to fully decide if it's actually an officially band-sanctioned video or not. I do believe it is. It looks like it could be an officially sanctioned music video, which I say because it certainly shows Warren DeMartini sitting in what looks like a hotel room, actually playing the song correctly on his guitar and singing backup vocals correctly while sitting on this couch. It also shows Stephen Pearcy sitting dramatically in a window and singing along with the song. Like Lovin' You and Shame, we do get to see Robin in this video, though in what I would definitely call a somewhat limited capacity. Basically, sort of in the background while the band plays on stage. The problem I have being sure if this is an official Ratt video is that, number one, I have no memory of ever seeing this video on TV or on my Ratt the Detonator videos videotape I used to own back in the day. And number two, none of the details around the video on YouTube look like the typical officially licensed details. If anyone out there has any actual knowledge, meaning some sort of honest to goodness evidence that this is an official Ratt video, please let me know in the comments here. That would be great. What I do know is this is one of my very favorite Ratt videos to actually sit and watch. I just love it. It's a fantastic representation of the band and the song. It also has over 2.2 million views on YouTube, which I was really glad to see. But more about that when we get to this in the track by track breakdown. Anyway, like I said, what the actual singles were and how they charted is something I had a hard time pinning down for this review. And in fact, I really don't feel like I got to any kind of officially correct information. Wikipedia says Lovin' You's the Dirty Job got to number 18 on the mainstream rock charts, while Givin' Yourself Away is shown as hitting number 39. Meanwhile, there's no mention at all of any kind of position with Shame, Shame, Shame. But like I said, there was a video for it. Okay, so let's start unpacking this thing, shall we? I'm just going to start by saying that I have really mixed feelings when it comes to Detonator. I know some of you may just want a nuts and bolts review, but I've had a lot to say about this album for a very long time. So I'm going to take this opportunity to get as much of that as I can out on the table while I can. I love this album for the most part. At least I love listening to most of these songs when I do. I think the album sounds great. I think some of these tunes are among the very best Ratt ever did. And I've always been really impressed with some of the writing and performances on the album. At the same time, the devil's in the details, as they say. And that could not possibly be more true, at least for me, than it is on this album. The devil being the album's executive producer and apparently king songwriter, Desmond Child, of course. Now, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Desmond, to put it kindly. I love some of the songs the guy has had a hand in helping these hard rock bands write and get big hits with, while I hate the fact that he was involved with them in any way. Just to give a bit of a rundown, for anyone who doesn't have a studied awareness of this fuckbag, Desmond Child has at least had a hand in writing the following songs for bands I love. And I'll try to limit this to mostly bands we would be fans of and songs you would definitely recognize even if you aren't a fan. For starters, Aerosmith. Heart's Done Time, Dude Looks Like a Lady, Angel, What It Takes, Flesh, Crazy, Hole in My Soul, Ain't That a Bitch. For Bon Jovi, of course, You Give Love a Bad Name, Living on a Prayer, Without Love, I Die for You, Bad Medicine, Born to Be My Baby, Blood on Blood, Wild as the Wind, Keep the Faith, I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, Something for the Pain, This Ain't a Love Song, Hearts Breaking Even, Diamond Ring, The Distance, Misunderstood, All About Lovin' You, Hook Me Up, Bells of Freedom, Dirty Little Secret, You Want to Make a Memory, Let's Make It, Baby, which was a demo apparently, Broken Promised Land, Fast Cars, Happy Now, Learn to Love, Army of One, Alice Cooper, Poison, Spark in the Dark, House of Fire, Why Trust You, Bed of Nails, and several others. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, I Hate Myself for Loving You, Little Liar, several others. For Kiss, I Was Made for Loving You, I've Had Enough, Heaven's on Fire, Under the Gun, King of the Mountain, Who Wants to Be Lonely, I'm Alive, Radar for Love, All Night, Bang Bang You, My Way, Reason to Live, You Love Me to Hate You, Let's Put the X in Sex, You Make Me Rock Hard, Hide Your Heart, Vince Neal, Promise Me, Paul Stanley solo, Live to Win, Lift, Wake Up Screaming, All About You, Where Angels Dare. And also a ton of songs for artists like Ricky Martin, Cher, Lindsay Lohan, Michael Bolton, LeAnn Rimes, and on and on and on. I'll post a link to a list of all these shitty sellout cow pie cookie cutter tunes in the description below this video for you, basically because if I have to be tortured by this knowledge, so should you. Another reason I have mixed feelings about Detonator is Robin Crosby. Now, Robin, from all accounts, was barely present in the recording studio for the Reach for the Sky album, only playing the one solo for I Want a Woman. And on Detonator, apparently he was barely involved at all. Leaving this to be basically the first of Ratt's studio albums to be a fully recognized one guitar project. And it's a really great record for Warren DeMartini fans, but it's also still a Ratt album without their true king, and that knowledge alone, as well as the absence of his contributions, does weaken my love for the album to a degree. Anyway, after the relatively pedestrian reaction to Ratt's Reach for the Sky album, Ratt, or Atlantic, or somebody, decided it was time to turn away from Beau Hill and find another showrunner to handle Ratt's next album. And who does Atlantic turn to but Desmond fucking Child? Now, I have never come across any kind of definitive accounting of just how Desmond became involved with Ratt, or what kind of arrangement existed between he and the band when it came to the writing and production of this album. But what I can tell you is what I suspect from the evidence I have in front of me. Ratt's sales continued to dwindle from album to album to album, while all these other hard rock bands keep having hit after hit after hit and 10 million selling album after album, with the help of songs they've either asked Desmond Child for help with, or when they've employed Desmond Child to actually bring songs into them and then finish them together in most cases. And Atlantic is looking at Ratt now and thinking, we've made a pretty big investment in these guys, and it started out really great. But now we're spending more than we're taking in, while Bon Jovi and Motley Crue and Whitesnake and Def Leppard are killing us in sales. And even Kiss has gotten a few honest-to-goodness hit songs with this Desmond Child guy, and by God, why shouldn't we get in on some of that too? So somebody makes the decision to go down to the crossroads and sign on the dotted line with Old Scratch in order to salvage whatever they can of Ratt's career. And Scratch says, okay, I'll do it, but you have to let me use my production company so that I get a big cut of everything that comes out of it. And I get songwriting credit on everything, no matter what. And I get my engineer, more on that later, to work with in the studio. And I get total control and final say on everything. And if you say no to any of this, or Ratt gives me any shit, I walk right now. And Atlantic says, okay, yes, done. And then Old Scratch smiles and hands them the contract, and they sign it, and that's that. And now Old Scratch, alias Desmobile Productions, owns Ratt. And no one can really even complain because these guys are already on the verge of oblivion and they have nowhere else to turn. And Old Scratch has a track record with a lot of success to back up everything he says in the studio. So who's going to argue with him? And now he can call up a few old friends and get them to come in and help him get these guys some hits, which they desperately need at this point. And if they get them, Desmond has a vested interest, and Desmond gets a big piece of that pie. And who's going to argue? Because without Desmond, they know what's going to happen. But with Desmond, who knows? Maybe they can salvage this thing. And on one hand, I'm going to compliment Desmond because this album has some really great moments. But on the other hand, he's Desmond. But none of that really matters because that was 1990. And my opinion didn't matter any more in 1990 than it does today. In fact, it mattered even less than today because today I at least have this YouTube channel where I can sit and tell you 445 people how I feel. But in 1990, I didn't have shit beyond my friends in my stupid little 2,000 person town to talk to about the new Ratt album. Okay, so let's take a little trip down memory lane and see what else came out in 1990 in the hard rock and metal genre besides Detonator. We also had AC/DC's The Razor's Edge, Queensryche's Empire, Extreme's Pornograffiti, Judas Priest's Painkiller, The Scorpions' Crazy World, The Black Crowes' Shake Your Moneymaker, Firehouse's self-titled debut, Warrant's Cherry Pie, Poison's Flesh and Blood, John Bon Jovi's Blaze of Glory, and Slaughter's Stick It To Ya, among others. Now, in the couple of videos I've done where I've already referenced Desmond Child, I've talked some shit about the guy. And I will continue to talk shit about the guy pretty much without end. But I also want to say the guy is obviously a really talented songwriter and musician, as well as a guy who obviously knows how to get his foot in the door and do the most with it once it's there. That takes a lot of skill and guts, both of which he clearly has in abundance. If you have it in front of you, take a look at Detonator. On my copy, it says, produced and recorded by Sir Arthur Payson for Desmobile Productions. Now, if that's accurate, what it means is Desmond Child was the executive producer on the album, and Sir Arthur Payson, who was officially Desmond's engineer, engineered the album and was given producing credit, while Desmond got a songwriting credit for every track that appears on the album, including, at least on my copy, track 1, Intro to Shame, a guitar instrumental that was clearly composed by Warren DeMartini. But somehow, Desmond and Stephen Pearcy get writing credit on it too. Okay, let's see a show of hands. How many of you, after listening to Intro to Shame, also known as War in D, actually believe Desmond Child had anything to do with the composition of that guitar intro? Me neither. So what gives? Well, that's a guy with a clause in his contract getting what he insists he gets because he feels he's earned it before he even begins the project. And a record company too desperate for an increase in record sales to look that guy in the eye and say, "You're out of your fucking mind, dude." It's also a demonstration of the development of power in the music industry when it was still an actual thing. This guy started selling songs to people who made them hits, then sold more and more, and eventually convinced these record companies he had the golden touch, until finally he was able to make demands based on past success. Do I blame him? No, of course not. I would have loved to be able to do the same thing and just be a decent fucking human being about it, rather than hold people hostage just because I thought I could. But I mean, he pulled that shit off. And because Ratt wasn't able to save their own career, they had to turn to someone to do it, right? Desperation plus Desmond equals Detonator. Now, if you believe these album credits, Sir Arthur Payson was Desmond Child's personal sound engineer. But that's a bit of a story in itself. See, it's widely rumored that Sir Arthur Payson is, in fact, Desmond Child going by an alias, like a writer who doesn't want their own name credited as writing a certain book. There's a whole rabbit hole you can go down on the internet on this subject if you want to, but I don't honestly have the time nor the care to do that here, so I won't. Good luck finding a photograph of Arthur Payson online or in a magazine, though. And the same goes for interviews with him or public appearances of any sort. I mean, other than some album credits from albums Desmond Child is also involved with, Arthur Payson doesn't actually seem to exist in any capacity. As for me, I'll just say that I fully believe Payson and Child are one and the same. Why? Because in 1990, there's no way Desmond Child gives up an ounce of power in a recording studio when he's got a band and a record label by the balls. That's why. And I don't really care what anyone says to the contrary. But whatever. Moving on. Let's talk about these tracks. Track 1, Intro to Shame. I believe probably written by Warren DeMartini. Yeah, if Desmond Child had anything to do with this track, it was making room for Warren DeMartini's massive talent and balls in the studio while he played it. This is a really great demonstration of Warren's growth into a more soulful guitarist. The distortion keeps fading album after album, doesn't it? And the licks keep getting bluesier and more confident, and the nickname Torch by this point should have been changed to Smooth. On Out of the Cellar, this guy was emulating Edward Van Halen. By Detonator, he honestly sounds a little more like Eric Clapton to me. That ain't a knock. It's about seeing a natural development, and it's a compliment. I'm not giving this track a rating, of course, because it's an instrumental or an intro, but I love it. Track 2, Shame, Shame, Shame. Holy crap, what a riff. Written by DeMartini, Piercy, and Desmond Child. Well, whatever I just wasted 10 minutes saying about how much I hate Desmond Child, this album sounds great. And these tunes are inspired. Incidentally, this is almost totally a Warren DeMartini record. From what I gather, like I said earlier, Robin Crosby barely played on Detonator, And when he did show up, Warren usually had to go back and replace those parts anyway after Robin had left. As a Robin fan, I hate that. As a Warren fan, I can't really do anything but compliment Warren on just how smooth, ambitious, and inspired his playing is on this album. It's funny, but after talking about seeing Warrant open for Ratt and Great White on the City to City tour a few days ago, I can't help but think about Jani Lane and the song I Saw Red, which supposedly was inspired by Lane walking in on his girlfriend having sex with one of his best friends around that time. So when I hear these lyrics, I have to wonder, being on tour together at that time, did Jani Lane's girlfriend's behavior inspire this song too? Ew, I sure hope not, but it sure sounds like it. Man, does this song ever move. It's just furious. Not too many Ratt songs I'll say that about, at least after Out of the Cellar. As soon as I got this cassette home in 1990 and popped it in, I was like, wow, these guys are back. Too bad I wasn't correct about that. It sure gets 5 stars from me, though, and it always will. Great stuff. Track 3, Lovin' You's a Dirty Job. Written by DeMartini, Crucier, Piercy, and Child. I can't recall anybody I knew not loving this song in 1990. Great riff, great chorus, great vocal, great sound. Definitely sounded like Ratt had finally figured something out again. There's just something about a Ratt song. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's great. But man, this bridge, for clarification, I'm talking about the I'm going to hold you till the end of time, I'm going to love you because it's now or never, I'm going to kiss you till I make you mine part. What a hook. They do that bridge just before the solo and just after it, and it's just incredible. This song should have been a much bigger hit than it was. Yes, I'm giving it 5 stars. I was thinking 4 originally, but then I listened to it again. These aren't the normal Ratt backing vocals, by the way, folks. As much as I detest him, based on some of the footage and interviews I've seen, I've got to give Desmond Child the credit for that. I think his influence can be heard all over these hooks. Don't get me wrong, like I said a few reviews back, the Ratt guys could definitely write some hooks, but teaming them up with this guy certainly wasn't a mistake as far as the songs go anyway. I will also give these guys credit for the same thing I gave Kiss credit for, with Ace being on the cover and in the videos for the Creatures of the Night album. Ratt got Robin Crosby to appear in the videos for this album, even though he was barely around at this point and certainly wasn't heard on the album much, if at all. But although he did appear on the tour, this would, of course, be the last time he was seen with Ratt on screen. And that just sucks. Track 4, Scratch That Itch. Written by Crucier, Piercy, and Child. Okay, and with that, there are 2 songs on Detonator that I just plain hate. This is one of them. 1 star. What the fuck is this all about? Have you ever actually taken a look at these lyrics? I'll be the doctor and I'll give you the cure. For this infection, I'm your injection. Really? This is a Desmond Child joint? Nice. My friends and I wrote lyrics like these when we were in 6th grade. Can't stand it. Moving on. Track 5, One Step Away.
Baby, on that hot summer night, I was so hot for you, you were nowhere in sight. You thought I was fooling, so your heart took the flight. I guess we're star-crossed lovers, we just can't get it right.
Okay, definitely surprised by just how much I love this song, but giving it 5 stars just the same. I'm not sure how to explain why, but I just can't help myself. Does anybody ever listen to this album and think, boy, Ratt chorus background vocals never sounded this ambitious before? I sure do. These harmonies are just miles ahead of anything Ratt had on their albums before this. I'll give Desmond Child credit for that without wanting to kill him. That's about it. Track 6, Hard Time. Written by DeMartini, Piercy, and Child. And boom, another 5 stars. Man, that riff. What a great way to close side 1 on Detonator. I love it. This album contains more underrated tracks than almost any other Ratt album in the catalog, I think. At least until I listen to another album that I haven't gotten to quite yet. But more on that when the time comes. All I know is that's 4 out of 5 5-star songs on side 1 of this record. And that's the only side 1 I can say that about other than Out of the Cellar. Track 7, Heads I Win, Tails You Lose. Written by DeMartini, Piercy, and Child. Okay. First song on side 2, Jon Bon Jovi guest vocal on the chorus. I wonder how that happened. John, are you there? Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you, Desmond. What do you want? I'm busy counting all the money I have now from entertaining my millions of fans.
Don't forget who got you all those fans, John.
All right, I remember. Now, what do you want?
I need your help, John. Remember that little contract you signed with me before you guys did Slippery When Wet? It's time to return the favor.
Oh, come on, Des. I'm busy. What do you need me to do?
Well, John, the guys from Ratt just signed a contract too, and I promised them I would get you to sing on their new album to help sell a few million more copies.
But I don't want to be a rat.
John?
Hey, you guys, what's going on? Oh, hey, Steve, how's it going, man?
Hello, Stephen. What are you doing here? I told you, don't psychically contact me. I'll psychically contact you. Now, what do you want?
We need a new drummer, Desmond. Bobby's being a real tool again. I just don't think I can keep working with him.
Oh, that damned Bobby Blotzer. It's like working with Lucas, I swear. We'll talk about it when I've finished with John, Stephen. I'm talking him into singing a few things on your new album. I really think it could help you sell more copies.
God damn it, Desmond. The contract said it would be something easy.
It said no such thing, John. I only told you I would ask for a favor, and if you didn't do it, I'd make you do a country album in 2007, and someday you would lose the most important part of your band. Now be very careful, John. Or sometime around 2022, I'll also take your voice. And then you'll be on stage singing Living on a Prayer like a droning history teacher. And it will be all over YouTube for the whole world to see.
Wait, what's a YouTube? Is that something dirty? Sounds kind of dirty.
Well, sometimes, yes, but that isn't important right now.
Okay, well, I mean, if John has other things going on, we understand. We don't have to have him on the album. I could do all the vocals. I mean, if he's too busy or something.
Now, Stephen, there's nothing to worry about. Nobody is going to like John more than they like you. That would be like saying people could someday like some grungy-sounding flannel shirt-wearing, out-of-tune garage band better than you guys. I mean, who are we kidding, right?
Oh, okay. Hey, Stephen. Sorry for interrupting. I have another song idea, and I just wanted to show it to you. And I really think I should sing lead on this one. And no way, Juan. Ratt is my band, and I'm never going to let you sing lead on anything. But that's no fair, Stephen. I mean, hey, wait, who is that? Oh, that's just Desmond Juan. Apparently, we've really made a deal with the devil. Oh my God, seriously? Seriously.
What a wuss. Okay, now go away so I can concentrate on John, Stephen.
See, man, why does everyone always have to concentrate more on John? He opened for us in '85. Fuck John.
Goodbye, Stephen. Bunch of pampered little bitches.
Oh, all right, I'll do it. But do you promise, I mean, really promise, that I won't have to go country in 2007?
Of course, John. And you know I always tell the truth.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, John. Now get out of here. I've got songs to write.
Okay, so no country. Cool. But hey, what did you mean, most important part of my band? I thought I was the most important. What do you mean, most important?
Oh, nothing.
Okay, so that's just a reenactment and may not be 100% accurate. I mean, I don't know if one actually came into the room or not. I don't hate this song. I don't love it either. I've always tried to picture what it was like to be in that recording studio when John walked in and Ratt was sitting there watching him sing that single line in this chorus. I mean, for all I know, none of them were actually there at all when he showed up. But I can't help but imagine that they were. It's just more fun for me. I give the song 3 stars. Gee, I sure hope John got out of that deal he made with Desmond. Track 8, All or Nothing. Written by DeMartini, Crosby, Piercy, someone named Terry Kilgore, and Desmond Child. And here's the other song I absolutely cannot stand on Detonator. This is just horrible. I've never liked this song for one single second in my entire life. I would almost rather listen to Kiss's Sonic Boom album than have to hear this. Almost. That's about the nicest thing I can think to say about it. 1 star. Moving on. Track 9, Can't Wait on Love.
Can't wait on. I can't wait on. I can't wait on love.
Written by Crosby, Crucier, DeMartini, Piercy, Blotzer, and Child. This song, on the other hand, I like. I gave it 4 stars. It almost could have earned a 5th if I'd been in a more giving mood when I rated these. If not for a couple of terrible tracks, this album might have finished surprisingly high for me in the Ratt catalog. More about that in the wrap-up ranking video in a few weeks, though, I'm sure. Track 10, Givin Yourself Away. Written by Piercy, Child, and Diane Warren. Wow, do I love this song. I'm not entirely sure I realized just how much I love it for several years. But now, holy crap, this is great. That melody, those lyrics, boy, there's something you don't hear too many people say too often about Ratt. But really, this song is just fantastic. 5 stars. And yes, I will give Desmond Child a lot of assumed credit for that. I don't really want to, but I mean, the only way around it is if this song had appeared on Dancing Undercover, right? And if it had, that might have made all the difference for these guys' careers. Oh, how I wish that could have been. But by 1990, it was just too late, I suppose. Like I said, Diane Warren also helped co-write this song. Diane Warren had also co-written or written a gazillion other songs, very popular songs, like Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, Cher's If I Could Turn Back Time, Bad English When I See You Smile, Bon Jovi's Wild as the Wind. And as many of you will already know, Kiss songs like Turn on the Night and You Make Me Rock Hard, along with many, many, many other typically sappy 80s radio songs. Despite all that, I'm going to go ahead and just throw it out there. This is one of my absolute favorite Ratt songs. It's also one of my favorite power ballads of the entire genre. I think this song is basically flawless in every possible way. And I'm not the only one. There's a huge following behind this song among Ratt fans all over the internet. Count me one of them. I definitely think this was mostly a Desmond Child, Diane Warren creation, with Piercy probably contributing a few lyrics or something. You can just hear it all over this track, the whole outside writer thing. From the chord progression to the big key change toward the end, a la Livin' on a Prayer. But, and this is something I feel strongly about, a great song is a great song. About the only thing I don't love about this one, in fact, is that I didn't help write it. Track 11, final track on the album, Top Secret. Written by Piercy, DeMartini, and Child. I really dig this track too. 4 stars. I wanted to go with 5, but I couldn't quite get there. Now, this song also appears on the Collage album with a bit of a different arrangement. I can only assume Desmond Child came in 90, heard the demo for this, and changed something to make it fit his vision better and to get a writing credit on the song in case his contract didn't have that covered. It's a little publishing trick Gene Simmons used to use all the time to get more money out of Kiss songs and Black and Blue songs and Keel songs and everyone else songs, and a trick I'm sure tons of other people use too. Although I'm sure Desmond Child's Detonator contract probably just said he automatically got the writing credit, no matter what. Thus, his name appearing on Intro to Shame, as I said earlier. Either way, this is a good way to close the album out, and I do like it. Okay, so according to the tracks, the album winds up with a total of 38 stars divided by 10 tracks, since I don't count intros, which equals a 3.8 star overall rating, tying it, for me, with Invasion of Your Privacy's score. And I will pick which one wins that tie in the final tally video, as always. And now that that's out of the way, let's get to the bottom line. Despite my feelings about the album's executive producer and #1 greedy scumbag songwriter, I would have loved for this album to finish even higher, rating-wise. But because of 2 horrifically awful songs that were somehow allowed to make the cut, Scratch That Itch and All or Nothing, it doesn't. Still, when you tune in to watch the wrap-up ranking video after I finished reviewing all of the Ratt albums, please know that I do, in fact, like Detonator even better than its ranking may reflect. But that's why we make the donuts the way we do, because when we taste them one at a time, sometimes we find out that not everything in the box is as good as we thought it was the last time we opened it. I honestly do feel like this album probably should have earned Ratt another chance to prove themselves in the next year or two. Unfortunately, though, by that time, glam metal, pop metal, hair metal, whatever you want to call it, had cut its own throat, along with a few very helpful hands from bands like Guns N' Roses and Nirvana. So it didn't really even matter by that point. Okay, so moving forward from here, I'm not going to review Ratt's 1997 Collage album because most people don't even really know it exists, let alone count it as an actual Ratt album, which it really isn't. So I'm going to move next straight to the '99 self-titled album. But before you decide you want to skip that video because it can't possibly rate very well and you didn't like it and never gave it a second listen anyway, you might want to go back and give it another listen, because I did, and I think you might be surprised by what I'm going to have to say about it and where it's going to place in the final ranking. See you then, hard rockers. Take care and keep on ratting rolling.